The one thing that I've found the most effective really is, of course, seeing what we think the owner thinks that the benefits are, right, of the product, because sometimes clients will have an idea of their business, but sometimes the reviews and comments are quite different. The form is really a base, but one of the things that we ask is like, what is your favorite customer review? The thing about raw material is that, 95% of the customers will not ever really use the raw material. So what we've opted in doing is we give them the longest form possible, especially when it's a production day, so that it's like a 2 or 3 minute clip, and all with the best material, graded and properly trimmed, so that at least the client can have that one clip, and it makes his life a lot easier for the future, right? So
our guest today is Antonio Boccanfuso, founder and chief content strategist at Hoski Media. Hoski Media helps e-commerce brands tell their story creatively through content. It's a one-stop shop for video and web design that offers original creatives, fast delivery, and great results. In my conversation with Antonio, we covered different aspects of creating better video ads. We talked about the difference between long-form and short-form ads, video repurposing for stories, Instagram stories, Snapchat stories, and Facebook stories, different ad layouts, how to get better testimonials, and much more.
Welcome to the EcomXFactor podcast, where it's all about launching and scaling your business using sales funnels, automations, and smart marketing. And now, please welcome your host, the founder of EcomXFactor, Yaron Bin.
Hi, Antonio. How are you?
fantastic, Yaron. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I look forward to our conversation. I'm sure it's going to be exciting and insightful.
Yeah, likewise.
Awesome. Before we hopped on the call, so you told me the origin of the name. So you guys are called Hoski Media. Sounds like an interesting story. So can you share a bit of the background and what is the significance of the name?
Of course. When I was a younger lad, my father had his regular job, and one of the goals that he had given himself was to achieve financial freedom, to have a sustainable business. And this was Hoski for him at the time. It was an IKEA assembly company, meaning that he would go to people's homes and assemble their furniture. He had one person that he brought along, and sometimes I would tag along. I absolutely hated it, but when that part of his life died out, and I took over when I graduated my schooling, took the name, and it's been 3-4 years now that we've been in business, and it's been something.
You've pivoted since then because you don't assemble any IKEA furniture anymore.
No, but we help people sell more furniture as one of the things.
Nice. So you still have like a connection to the roots.
Yeah, we're doing a shoot for Pier 1 next weekend, so we kind of come full circle there. Next stop is IKEA, so then I can really say that we close that loop.
Awesome, great. So can you share a bit about what you guys are doing these days?
Yeah, so we're servicing e-commerce and even local businesses in 3 ways right now. The first one and the most popular one is the influencer content. So we work with a database of people, mostly located here in Canada, to bring them products so that they can do reviews. But in the case of local businesses, we also send them to restaurants to film more content and then repurpose that for ads or for social media. So that's the first one. The second one is the production, right? Where similar to like what we did for Radio Shack and Pier 1, we take an actor, we bring a crew, we light, we shoot, we have a director, and that's really great for product demos and also funny ads as we see on YouTube very often. And the third one is, of course, the monthly CMO package, which is the Chief Marketing Officer. You get access to a team of people that are there to help you move your content plan forward. We also help ideate and conceptualize different ads. So this is how we've been helping people.
Awesome, great. I already have so many questions, but I'll save the technical stuff for later. But for now, can you elaborate a bit about like what does like your perfect client look like, or what customers are you looking for? What is this amount of spend that one should spend in order to come to you guys? Because is it relevant to small business owners or for guys with higher scales?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. We are working tirelessly to make the services available to local business owners. We've recently started working with local restaurants to bring more traffic and create more buzz around the food. So that's been going really well. But the usual customer that we will get is someone that's spending between 4 to 5 figures a month, usually on Facebook and Instagram, who are selling a product that's either medium to high ticket, or that have a heavy upsell process or a long-term value in terms of customer. But this way, they're able to invest more on the front end when it comes to production and reap the rewards over time. We have like clients that run our ads. They use the same piece for 6-8 months. Some have been running it for 2-3 months straight. Nice. At these high spends, and it's been going well.
Awesome. And how does a production day look like? Or maybe even we go back a bit further. So let's say I'm a customer that meets the criteria that you said. So how does the onboarding look like? And afterwards, how does the production look like? And until I launch the ad. So what's the process?
It's actually something that I'm quite proud of. It's one of the ways that I wanted to build this business was for it to be super lean and efficient, but still produce some really, really high quality content. And one of the ways that we do this is through obviously intake forms. So when you sign up, we have a very specific questionnaire that allows us to do our research, right? Because that's the first step, really. The client agrees. We need to have a research phase where we'll check out the competition, look at their ads, and then propose concepts to the customer. And then from there, the customer approves, right? Everything is done in real time in Slack, right? Where we communicate actively with the customer. So the first step is the research, the script. Then we have the casting, where we send an email blast to our list of creators who are in our city. And then these people will submit tapes, photos of their pets, if it's relevant, things like that. And once all that's approved, then we move forward with production. And a production day, well, it's a 10 to 12 hour day. We have the team, which I've been working with, most of the same people for the last 3 years. And so we're very effective when it comes to that part. And then usually, the day goes as planned, unless there's like any kind of complications, which rarely happens. And then, from there we film, and then we edit. And that's the part where the editing is where the magic really happens, because, of course, once the script, everyone agrees on the script, the editing is where all of the pieces and the work really comes together. And it's an amazing part of the process, the delivery.
And the client gets raw material as well, or only like edited ads already?
The thing about raw material is that 95% of the customers will not ever really use the raw material. So what we've opted in doing is we give them the longest form possible, especially when it's a production day, so that it's like a 2 or 3 minute clip, and all with the best material, graded and properly trimmed, so that at least the client can have that one clip, and it makes his life a lot easier for the future, right? So the raw material we don't do, but we store it for 6 months to a year. For real, like until we run out of space, we're going to keep it. And then, we start to archive things. But that's really what we prioritize.
Awesome. And one question regarding the onboarding. So I strive to learn great questions. I think great questions are important. So can you give examples of like questions that you incorporate into the client intake that you find very effective in order to understand the client needs or his niche or his competitors?
Yeah, let me actually pull a couple of them out right now. But the one thing that I've found the most effective really is, of course, seeing what we think the owner thinks that the benefits are, right, of the product. Because sometimes clients will have an idea of their business, but sometimes the reviews and comments are quite different. The form is really a base. But one of the things that we ask is like, what is your favorite customer review? And this kind of really puts a lot of because the CEOs of these companies, they're looking at the customer reviews all the time. They're monitoring that like hawks, and every time there's a bad one or a good one, they take that information in and they run with it. So that's we ask them, what is your favorite, and what is your least favorite or most constructive. And the other one that I really like is just the list of the 3 competitors, because that really allows us to see what where they see themselves, and also what level are they playing at.
When you analyze the brand in opposing to the competitors, you look at like the level of editing or the design, or how original is the marketing or the angles. What do you compare?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we do is we'll actually compile real customer reviews, and about 200 of them, to see, okay, what is the patterns that we're noticing. So what are the most relevant keywords, the ones that are said the most, and this kind of creates a foundation to write the scripts, right? So that we can target specific problems. Because a lot of the mistakes that happen, one of the big ones that I've noticed when I started, is that the owner tries to cram everything into one day, because they want to get the most out of their money. But that usually does a lot more harm than good, because the ad isn't hyper focused, hyper targeted on a specific problem. It takes away the relatability of the ad, because that's really what's driving the conversion, is people see themselves through the problem showcasing. So yeah, that's what we do for the research phase.
Nice. I had a guest on the podcast that she has the solutions that analyzes with AI all the reviews that the shop got, and then it gives you like sentences or stuff that comes up more often and more frequently, and this can probably be incorporated into scripts.
I would love to, yeah.
I'll connect you guys.
We've been doing that manually.
I'll connect you guys. And I also did recently a YouTube video about writing better copy. And one thing that I like doing is I like going to Amazon, to competitors, and going to the reviews and sorting out by how many people found a review helpful. And this gives me a great understanding of how many people related to the review. And based on this, you can do reverse engineering to the copy. So you mentioned relatedness, and you said it's very important. And it's an interesting angle that I didn't really consider as the most important. But can you elaborate about this? Why do you find it so important? And what are the other aspects maybe?
Every great ad that we see, is somewhat relatable to a certain level, which is why when we do the casting process, we look for someone that matches the ideal customer's demographic. Because, you put a younger person when the product is for an older person, there is a disconnect, a certain, you can imagine the classic comments of, oh, she's too young, or she doesn't have any wrinkles, or, this kind of defensiveness that will come up. And even just a lot of, even the trends of today are pushing a lot the ads, right? We have a lot more diversity, we have a lot more inclusion. These are all things to help the customer feel related. They are dictating these trends ultimately. So it's super important to keep that in mind. And even for when we do a comedic ad, a lot of the jokes and pain points are presented in a way that is super relatable or funny. So that's really why I believe it's, and especially since I'm in the video world, that's for me one of the important things. But I feel like as marketing as a whole, you're right, it might not be the most important thing.
So what other, when you, let's say you finish the production, you have videos, how do you have criteria in which you assess, okay, this video has 8 points for relatability, 6 points funny, 8 points persuasive. So do you have criteria in which you assess a video?
That's actually very interesting. We don't do it based on that. We do it more based on type of video. There are about 8 types of videos, case study videos, demo videos, viral videos, review videos, and we put them in that category because ultimately they each have different degrees of funniness and things like that. And for us, it's more important that we're doing the right type of video, because every industry will respond better. And I think that's also one of the skills for productions that we have, is that, when a client comes to us, they tell us, hey, we have a tech video that we want to do, but we want to make it look like a YouTube unboxing testimonial video. We're able to imitate that style to a T, so that when the audience sees it, it's relatable. This is what they are used to watching. So that's how we would go about it.
Nice. And can you share some, obviously this is a general question, but can you share some trends in regards to what you think is working better, case studies or getting traction or viral videos or?
Yeah. I think that the market is heading into one very clear direction where UGC and product demonstration videos are going to be the building blocks of any e-commerce business, no matter what the product is. And then everything else is going to be micro pieces. So 7 seconds, 15 seconds, a lot of picture in picture. And what I mean by that is like, you have one video and then you have an image inside that video, or you have another video in that video. There's a lot of use of overlays to stop the scroll. So it's going to be product demo, UGC as the bulk, the bigger pieces, and then micro content for the rest. Yeah.
In the same piece of content, or are you saying in like
separated
the marketing efforts of
the
one
marketing
brand
efforts on the content side? Yeah, 100%.
Because I see some people, brands also have like a combination. They're using like testimonials and photos of the product during the same video. And do you think this is working or not really?
Yeah, I mean, was that video like less than 15 seconds, or was it a very?
Yeah, this is also an interesting topic that I would like to explore, like video length, but it was like 1 minute long or 2 minute long stuff.
Right. So that was more of like a hero video, which combines, product demo and UGC. Yeah. I mean, of course, the way you mix and match them is going to be free, but again, the bulk of that video was UGC and a demo, right? You want to see how to use the product, and you want to see people that are vouching for it.
And do you think it's more important to show how you use or proof that it works? I mean, demo goes two ways. It can be like an explanation. This is how I use this, or this is how it works. Like showing the results. So,
no, I definitely think like the way I see it is that, because for me the way I'm picturing is like, okay, what would you shoot in one day to get that video? And obviously, you want to cover all the angles. You want to show how it looks, how it works. And you want to show it solving the problem. That for us is like one day in the studio, because like you said, we don't know how these will combine with the other assets. So this is, we want to get both. And obviously the ones that solve a problem are, they have a better chance of succeeding. And it's funny because even when I started, we were not as big, we were not as known. So we would get products that were, as a result, not as good for the market. They would have flaws. And the team on the day would notice this, because we would manipulate the product. It's a great product research as well, because you have a team that's like, looking at it. So as we get these better products, there's a better reaction to the team when we're filming, because we're able to really, this is really clever. Let's show that. And so, I think that they're for me, it's not like, whether do you need to show this or that. It's like when you're shooting, you got to get that entire piece and then do the edit afterwards.
And when it comes to data, do brands, like, they show you the data, they tell you what works, what doesn't work? So how close are you to the numbers?
Yeah, so we're looking to get closer in the sense of like, someone is actively checking the ads manager. As of now, like, we're still mostly operating on a tell basis, where these people share with us the numbers. But we are looking to get closer because we want to be able to draw our own conclusions and our own reports.
And based on what they are telling you, so is there any other trends that you find interesting? I mean, let's say vertical videos are working better or shorter, or obviously it depends on the market, if it's a low ticket, high ticket, but in general, do you have like anything that you can share with the listeners in regards to other trends that you're seeing or hearing that or producing?
I mean,
results?
We're exploring a lot of the shorter formats just because they're easier to produce in bulk. So, for example, overlay videos with reviews on top are super popular right now. The picture-in-picture, where we have an image in the back and a smaller video in the screen, are being used by a lot more companies. Video overlays, people are getting more creative with the shorter formats because it's more cost-effective. Less brands are opting for the big lifestyle video. They want to squeeze more out of what they already have. And like, we're totally on board with that.
Nice. And do you customize any videos to other platforms like Snapchat or TikTok or?
So that's a great question. And it's a question that comes out a lot when we talk to people on the phones. It's that once we film the content, it's pretty much anything is really possible unless the shot was not meant to be filmed in a certain way. So we are used to repurposing the same videos for stories, right? And stories, they have a certain beat to them, right? They're usually 2 15-second pieces stuck together. So yeah, like we're repurposing a lot of the content for stories and other formats.
Nice. When you just started and told about the free streams of what you guys are doing, so you mentioned the CMO. So can you share a bit about exactly how does this look like, this service of the CMO?
It's actually one of the more exciting ones that we've been doing because...
Quick favor, guys. If you enjoy these shows and have been a listener for quite some time now, we would really appreciate it if you could take the time to give us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever your preferred podcast app may be. Having lots of ratings and audience feedback makes our show become more visible across multiple platforms. And it also supports our mission of helping as many people as possible to become better marketers and better entrepreneurs. So if you're not driving and it wouldn't be dangerous, pause this thing right now and give us an honest review over your podcast app. And we will love you even more than we already do. Thank you for taking the time, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
We're really building relationships with our customers, and they're learning to trust us as well, and us to trust them. That, because a lot of the times when we started, we would do a piece and then we would not know how it was launched. Customers would say, oh, this worked, this didn't work. We think it's for this reason. And then, we were kind of left in the dark, and we really needed to move ahead and, in the spirit of mitigating the risk when there's this kind of investment, right? Because that's the goal of any business, is to like guarantee a result or get as close to that as possible. So what that works is that on a weekly basis, we have a brainstorming session with an account manager, a creative director, and a copywriter that's on our team. And then from that meeting, we'll craft a plan for the month and then execute on that plan. And there will be weekly deliverables, so 3 pieces every week, so a total of 12 every month for the company to test. And we're working with our clients now to find a structure that is going to lead to predictable results, not just on the sales side, but just to show, okay, this creative is working better, let's push in this direction.
So normally for the testing, your clients, they can do whatever. Basically, the testing
They're
method
free,
in Facebook, they do whatever they want. You don't give them like specific advice how to test like scroll stoppers or test audiences or use this for remarketing or stuff like that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, there is a general agreement as to like what type of video goes where, like UGC is usually better for middle funnel. There is like a certain acknowledgement of as to what we need to do, but as to a specific proprietary way of launching it, we're still working on that. It's something that I'm pursuing right now.
Nice, awesome. In regards to like remarketing ads, do you mentioned that you use more UGC in the middle of the funnel? So what do you do in the top of funnel? More like showing the product,
more like a demo. Yeah. So you're proposing the problem. You're showing the problem, ideally in a funny or amusing or entertaining way, and then you're presenting to them a solution, and then you retarget them with user generated content. And then for the hot audience, you want to just show them 7-second videos. So review overlays, 7-second little snippets, discount codes, things like that. Pretty standard practice for that.
And for the like warm audience, do you make it a point to film different objections of the customer? Or let's say for me, I like in my remarketing, so I try to serve ads based on the objections that the customer might have. So maybe it's a price point or shipping time or stuff like that. So do you make it a point?
That's amazing. I love that. Yeah, that's why we do the research part, because once I have the pain point, it's very easy to take content that we filmed and then use text to drive that message, right? Or imagery, or even sometimes we'll slip in a little piece of stock video just to kind of change that first clip that they see. And we're able to tackle it that way, right? Because that's the thing. We want to stay as lean and as effective as possible. And if we start to think of the end video during production, that's not the way that the process is supposed to go. It's like there's a plan of action, you film, and then you can create the message in the post room. But as long as you film that everything, right? Everything that we want to show.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you regarding the humor and funny stuff.
Yes.
Because I never use funny stuff, even though I consider myself a funny person, but I never use funny stuff in my ads because I'm kind of afraid to do so. So because it can go both ways. So can you share? So can you share a bit about exactly how you approach this and how impactful they are, like the funny stuff? It's nice to produce them, but do they produce results?
Do they produce results? That's the question on everyone's mind, you know? I think the one thing that we've seen for one of our earlier clients that, you know, kind of put us on the map when we had a huge success was this coffee brand called Gothrider. They're super great. They're based out of Montreal. And the main selling point is that it's like a stronger coffee, you know, coffee for badasses. Mm-hmm. So when we did that video, you know, we didn't really, you know, because it's a consumable. How do you showcase a consumable product and demonstrate it, right? Mm. You put the beans in the coffee machine and you make the coffee. Like there's nothing really crazy that happens. So that was where we really had a challenge of like, okay, how are we going to get this message across? Mm-hmm. And it was, again, by using the right people on camera. If we look at that ad, it's super badass. There's fire, there's smoke, there's like beans crashing on the table. Nice. You know, everyone in it has tattoos and is covered like, you know, in leather. And people commenting on the video are just cheering. They're cheering for this piece. And this video has been viewed more than 700,000 times. And people are like, oh, I love the ad, or I'm looking forward to seeing your next ad. And it's like, you see the tribe building. And I think that, again, it comes down to what we discussed previously was the relatability. You know, people relate to this piece when they watch it, they get fired up. So it's the same way with the comedic side, is that people want to see a problem illustrated comedically and they want to relate to it, you know, and that's really comes down to researching the pain points, the objections, the desires, and going off of that. But that's kind of what we got so far for that. But it's been fun.
Awesome, great. It sounds great. I'm not sure I quite understood. What are the costs of this production? For example, let's say I want to do the production. So you shared some numbers, but I'm not sure I understand. What does this include?
For a product demonstration video versus a viral ad, it's two different processes. For the viral ad, there's a concept book that needs to be purchased for $1,000, and this is where we do the research part. We propose 3 unique angles, and then we pick an angle and then we go in that direction. The product demonstration video includes, you know, 2 actors, full crew, an art person, right? And basically a day of testing the product so that we can know exactly what's going to go on the day. And that usually ranges between 4.2 and 5,000 for that video. And from that video, we can create, you know, there have been times where we've created 30 to 45 pieces from that one day, right? So again, it's we're not filming with that end result in mind. We're filming with the idea of like, this is a foundational piece, you know, and we're going to cover the most amount of angles possible.
Nice, awesome. So can you share a bit more case studies of brands that you helped?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the other brands that we've worked with a lot was Dormeo, which is an international sleepwear company, which basically caters to Europe, and they've been selling in North America. They approached us, they approached us about 4 months ago to do a project. I think maybe it was even 5-6 months ago now, to do a documentary. It was very, very interesting. So they had a specific product which was going to help sleepers save money when they were going to replace their mattress. The solution was to not throw away the mattress, but to place a piece over top, which would give new life to your mattress for a fraction of the cost. So it was a very, very interesting solution. So they came to us with this idea of like, hey, we want to find 6 families and we want to tell them that we're going to replace the mattress. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to place this piece and we're going to film their reaction. And this was like a 4-day shoot. And we even had the people come in a week or 2 later to comment on their experience with the product. So we did that, and it was like a huge thing. And obviously, you know, they invested a lot of money. And at the end, what we saw, and this was a great learning experience for us as well, is that obviously the original 2-minute clip wasn't converting, right? Because it's like a whole, you know, we did like a capsule per family, and that was more for YouTube. Yeah. But what we did is that we then took this footage and then created worked in tandem with the media buying agency to help like ideate basically the shorter form videos.
Yeah.
And that has been running on like a 4 to 5 figure spend monthly
Nice.
for the last 2-3 months. And, that's where I really realized that it's like, we can't go into these production days with like, oh, this is like what I'm going to go get. And this is the only thing I'm filming. It's more, this is a schedule. This is what we're filming. And then from there, the ads are made, right?
Awesome. Yeah. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And you also shared the practice in which you guys are doing like after the production. So you're adding the necessary messages in text or stuff like that. So it makes it more versatile. And the ads that you're producing are more scalable in a way because you can create
one
more.
shoot for 6 months and you're good.
And this is awesome. And you also mentioned YouTube ads. So do your clients use YouTube ads? Do you know if they're using YouTube ads? What?
Clients have been experimenting a lot with it. I think that it's more from an organic perspective, where we're educating people about the product, which has been helping. For me, YouTube is, as of now, more for coaches and courses and people that are talking in front of the camera, that are pitching in front of the camera. We haven't had huge amounts of success with ecom unless it's ultra product focused, ultra problem focused. Where we're really, really showcasing, hey, this is a real problem. This is why you need this product. And again, it's usually someone there speaking to the camera, right? Illustrating this, giving a pitch.
Nice. A few tactical questions. So do you see like using subtitles or not using subtitles? What are your thoughts about
this? That's a great question. I compare this to the use of the green or the orange button on like a funnel page.
It's irrelevant.
I think it's irrelevant. Like, I know that there have been times, where you make the switch and it works, but I've also seen it go the other way where we have a subtitled version and we take it out and it actually performs better. And the logic really escapes me for that one.
Nice. And what about like POV stuff? Do you guys?
Yeah, that's an amazing. You're really on top of your game. I love it. Yeah. So we've tried a few POV, not enough. Like, I can't say I've done like 70 shoots that are POV, but we've done a few. And as of those tests, the regular version worked better. But this is why, you don't go into the day and you decide, oh, I'm just going to do a POV. There's just too much risk. You got to have it as part of the as part of that test.
And what about like explanations with 2 people or 3 people? Because normally we are used to having like 1 people per testimonial, but do you do stuff like that?
Right. So like compilation videos with UGC people, right?
I call it a mashup, but a compilation.
Mashup. Exactly. Yeah. I think the mashup is a great way to do it. And again, I think that it's just, Here's the thing. The way I say it is that if you have bad UGC, you do a mashup. If you have really good UGC, use it in a single video. So like, if the UGC person gives you like, 1 minute of video and only 20 seconds of it is usable, get 5 of those types of videos and put them in a mashup. If each video is super strong, just trim it and then launch it.
And do you also have some sort of format that you're sharing with the brands in regards to how they should request for the UGC from their customers?
Yeah, so we handle all that. Ourselves, and I think that the key here really is just to have a relationship with these people, because ultimately, you can have the best scenario, the best kind of document that you give them, but if the person doesn't read it or isn't committed to it, or overall just doesn't like the product, because like we've had some times where clients just send us bad products and these get to the users and they're like, well, this didn't work, or this broke, or just, I think it's just about building relationships and having like an open communication. But of course, like with them, you want to cover a base, right? You want to have them illustrate a transformation, right? So before I was like this, now I'm like this, and it's because of this, right? And I think that's really what we want to do.
And also, like, do you give them like guidelines in regards to like lighting or how to hold the phone, stuff like that? The backdrop.
So if it's vertical or landscape, for sure, always film during the day next to a window. We try to establish certain like technical protocols so that these people can give us a high quality video, because sometimes people like, they have an iPhone 12, but the video comes in and it's super pixelated and they don't know why, and they need someone to help them troubleshoot that stuff. So Yeah, a lot of managing. UGC is a lot of managing, as you know.
Awesome. Okay. A question regarding images. Do you guys do images? Do you see good results with images?
I've seen competitors use images successfully. We've done compositions where we take the product, we take a photo of the product, and then we build landscapes and photos, compositions around that product. So the only thing that ends up being real is that actual product, and it looks really great. And again, it's just about aligning the pain point desire, the text wise, over top of the image. And, you know, if it's compelling enough, I truly believe that that it works.
Nice, because I'm seeing great results in my stores with images because the CPMs are so low. Even though the conversion rates are also lower, but at the end of the day, the ROAS is better for me in images because the CPMs are way lower. So
yeah, and I wonder if it's a great tool to, like, you know, create an audience for retargeting, you know, where, you know, instead of having 3 top, middle, and bottom, you can add a 4th layer where, you know, this was initially the goal, and you know, use the images to, you know, spike some curiosity and then hit them with a problem, a solution, you know, but just creating more touches.
For me, actually, like the images are working very well in the remarketing ads. I mean, because I don't know why. You know, there are many explanations, but nobody really knows what is really working and why, but it makes sense, obviously.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Awesome, great. So is there anything else that I forgot to ask or anything that you would like to mention?
Honestly, it's, you know, yeah, I mean, you've really covered everything. The questions have been super thorough. So, I mean, it's been great. And if anyone wants to check us out, it's, you know, I'm sure the link will be somewhere.
Yeah, well, for sure. No, for me it was like a fast fire crash course about video.
I know, right? It makes me feel good that I feel like, you know, we're really starting to get a mastery on just understanding strategy. Because a lot of production companies, they just don't, you know, it's a very one-way approach. So
questions that came to my mind right now. So do you think, I mean, people listening to this and they're saying, well, I can do this on my own. What would be your answer?
Amazing.
It's like, it's a self-serving answer, but what would be your answer? Because obviously there is a lot of, I mean, it makes sense to hire a master and people that have experience, but how would you convince them?
Yeah, no, I mean, the answer is, in being like self-made, the answer is yes, you can absolutely do it on your own, especially producing the content, which is why, you know, Hoski doesn't limit itself to just making the content and filming it. This is why we edit, strategize, and, you know, help ultimately repurpose and manage that content, because a lot of owners right now, they're you know, they have employees, they film, maybe sometimes influencers come in, they'll do a post, but ultimately if you ask that manager, okay, hey, can you send me like a folder with all the content that you've ever made, usually they don't like collect any of it. They don't store it, they don't organize it. And then when it comes to doing like a marketing launch, they've been in business for 5-10 years and they don't really have much to go on. We have to like dig from the site. It's like, yeah, but you made content. Everyone's making content every day. Yeah. It's about the editing and the managing of it. That's truly important.
I agree. And I also believe that you guys are specializing in creating this stuff. So you have a broader perspective about what is working and trends and stuff like that. And a lot of people try to do everything on their own. And I also like being self-sustained. But every time I outsource to someone I trust that have like expertise in a field, I never regretted it, because obviously you can't be good in everything. You can be good. You can be excellent in all the aspects. So definitely, I think this is one aspect, like creative and videos are so important for your business, especially in e-commerce. So I definitely think that people should consider outsourcing this pretty soon and not trying to keep this to themselves. So where can people get hold of you guys, connect, see your stuff?
Yeah. So it's going to be at hoski.ca or hoskimedia.com, whichever, it both lead to the same place. Or on Facebook at Antonio Boccanfuso, that they can reach to me directly for, you know, a chat. I'm happy to talk strategy, and technical.
Cool. Thank you so much, Antonio. It's been a pleasure. I learned a lot. I need to review the interview and think about ideas. And yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yaron.
Awesome. Take care. Bye-bye. Hi guys, this is Yaron again. Just a few more things before you take off. Number one, if you want to learn more about e-commerce and marketing, make sure you check out our YouTube channel, which is called EcomXFactor Official. Number two, check out our Facebook group, which is called EcomXFactor Marketing and E-commerce Mastermind. This is a great place to ask questions and connect with other business owners. And last but not least, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to share it with your friends and colleagues, plus leave a review at your favorite podcast app.